G'day, Banjo from Jungle Masters again. Well, today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm creek walking during the middle of the day. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you how I cook up a hot meal, which I'll be having for lunch. This is very similar to the meal I prepared in the meal preparation video. Much of the same ingredients. Going to be prepared in exactly the same way. The only difference is that instead of being in the jungle at night, I'm at a creek in the middle of the day. But it's a lovely day for a hot meal, and if I get too hot I can always jump in the water. The water's lovely. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably around 27, 26 degrees, something like that. It's very, very pleasant to be in, and being in the shade beside it is almost equally as pleasant. But creeks are like the, you've probably heard this before, waterways are the natural roadways of the jungle, and the same applies around here. The creeks are very good for moving around at certain times of the year. It's the tail end of the wet season, it's mid-November. We haven't yet got into the wet season build-up. So that's how you set up the stove, for anybody that's wondering. It's not yet the build-up to the wet season, so we're not having the storms and things yet. So the creek is at the lowest it'll be all year. This particular creek is Sth Liverpool Creek. I'm in the national park, surrounded by jungle on all sides. The creek winds down to a roadway. It's a bit of a difficult roadway to get to. You have to sort of know where it is. And it's a dirt road, but a lot of the locals know about it. And some of the locals come up the creek, but most of them just use the swimming hole down where the road is. You can see the creek's still running, which means I'm not having to carry water today, which is great. It's 3 kilos less to carry. It means I can stay well hydrated despite the heat and humidity. I believe it's around 33 degrees today. It's the hottest part of the day now, being about 1 o'clock. The sun is quite blistering, and so the issues I have to cope with walking today are different to what would normally be problems. Hyperthermia, being too hot, is still one of them, but that's easily resolved by jumping in the creek. Another of the issues, now somewhere here, another of the issues is water, but in this instance it's too much rather than too little. I've managed that by using the Bureau of Meteorology website. Here they call it the BOM, B-O-M. They have their app, and I've checked the app, and there's 0% of chance of rain. Hang on, we better get some water first, I guess. So, like I said, I'm not carrying any water at all. There's no need. I'm walking right up the middle of a creek that's beautiful fresh water. So you'll notice I walked out into the creek a little bit. The water just here at my feet is not flowing. Well, it doesn't seem to be flowing at all. It probably is. There's probably a little bit of flow to it. It'll be seeping through the sand, etc. But just to err on the side of caution, I'll take it from the fast flowing reaches. You don't want any of the backwater water untreated. It's got a much higher potential to have things in it that you don't like. Anyway, we'll fire this up. And there we go, simple as that. Put that in there so I don't lose him. And that goes on. So, as I explained in the meal preparation video, it's simply a matter of boiling the water, which is pretty quick and made much quicker by putting the cup on as a lid. That traps the heat inside. I mean, you cook at home, you know what it's like, but that will boil a lot quicker with the water. One of the issues I'm having today, because it's such a bright day, I'm usually doing this at dusk or even in the dark, I can see the flame clearly. In this instance, I can't see the flame at all. Ideally, I want the flame to be licking the outside of the pot, but not so high that it's melting the handles on my pot. So that's looking pretty good there. One of the things I could do, there's a very faint breeze. Oh no, looks like I'm mistaken. I thought the breeze was coming this way, but down here it's actually blowing that way. So we'll leave the handles on the upwind side and that'll help protect them a little bit. You'll see today I'm using dry sacks. In fact, that one's sitting in water. That is my faith in that dry sack. But a lot of the contents are double bagged. So that's my blanket. That's really all I need tonight. The nighttime temperatures are low 20s, low to mid 20s, depending upon where you are. I won't need more than a blanket. I've also got in another dry bag, inside the dry bag, a pair of long pants for tonight and a pair of socks. Reason being is I won't be sleeping in the creek. This time of year, we usually get a lot of march flies. The march flies can be an absolute plague proportions, which I've been lucky so far. They haven't been besieging me. And while I'm walking in water, to deter the march flies, all I've got to do is stay wet. But at night, obviously, well, they don't bite during the night, but into dusk, they're very active. And I don't like to use insect repellent, especially when I'm in such a beautiful natural waterway as this. I don't want to pollute it any more than I have to. I'd rather not pollute it at all. Without insect repellent, long clothing will be the best deterrent for the march flies and keep them off. I didn't bring my hammock tent this time. I'm using my old hammock. It still has the fly screen, but it doesn't have any sort of roof. And knowing that there's zero potential for rain, I haven't even brought the poncho to put as a hoochie over the top. I'll just sleep under the stars with just nothing between me and the sky but the fly screen, and that'll keep the mozzies, etc. off. You can see it's pretty thick jungle. When I set up my camp, it'll just be on the bank of the river. I need a couple of trees about 3.5–4 metres apart. That shouldn't be too hard to find. You can see there's no shortage of trees, and really that's all I need. There's no concern about flash flooding at this time of year, again because I know there's no rain coming. I'd be very concerned about camping on the creek if there was any potential for rain. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's a great way for beginners to get into the rainforest because navigation's dead easy. You head upstream, and it doesn't matter if the creek or the river branches, so long as you keep heading upstream, when it comes time to go home, you just follow the water. Because creeks, certainly at this stage, it's different when you get down to the deltas, but at this stage, creeks will always be coming together. So it doesn't matter whether you took the left branch or the right branch, you will always end up back on the creek that you started on. You just have to be careful not to walk too far. I'm very familiar with the swimming hole down the road. I'm not going to walk past it. There's a considerable change in the topography at that stage too, because that's the start of the farmland, so that's where it gets flat. The creek gets broader, shallower, more sandy. So basically I'll just be walking down until the rocks end, and when the rocks end, I know I'm pretty close to the car park. Travelling in this country, you do have to be careful of your feet. You'll see I do have shoes on. These are a draining sand shoe, reef walker hybrid type shoe. Probably not the best. The best would be a pair of draining boots, because my ankles, although I've only been walking for a little while, my ankles are copping a bit of a flogging. Oh, that's boiled already. I can't hear it because of the creek. So at this stage with the food, all I do, once I find somewhere to put that down. So today I have beef, peas, onion and mashed potato. So it's a bit of a, what would you say, a homemade deconstructed cottage pie maybe? I don't know, is that what they'd call it on the streets of Sydney? Regardless of what you call it, it's just a mix of food that needs to be rehydrated, and let sit, and it will cook in the residual heat after I take this off the heat. So I'll just get my spoon out ready. Nothing ever goes to plan when the camera's on. There's my spoon. Simply a matter of tipping this on. You'll see the flame's still going, that's fine. We tip that in there, it will bubble and froth, which again is fine, but we just want to keep an eye on it, bring it back to the boil, wait until the froth is in danger of overflowing the pot normally. To leave it any longer than that is inviting trouble. You'll end up with half your dinner all over the place. So that's just about at the top of the pot. So we'll turn that off, put the lid on, give it a quick stir. Yeah, no fear. Put the lid on and let that sit. So that's how you cook it. Couldn't be easier. I'll probably bring the video to an end now. I won't make you sit here and listen to me talking for 10 minutes until it's ready. Suffice it to say that in 10 minutes time that should have the consistency of porridge, the temperature of hot porridge. So one needs to be careful. You'd be surprised how much heat it retains in that pot even after 10-15 minutes. But for now I'm going to turn off the video and go and jump in the creek. We'll cool down a bit before lunch.